This is my weighted Ferocious Cup tournament. It was the only 5-rounder I had over the weekend, so I decided to weight this one, hopefully to win out and score big. Unfortunately, I did take one L. Now, through these losses, we do learn, so hopefully you guys can learn from my mistake as much as I learned from it myself and go forth and conquer the rest of your Ferocious Cup battles. Now, if you're curious about my team selection here, my team is double charm, double water, double anti-charm. The main reason why I decided to go with this team comp was because I did not have a Last Resort Umbreon, and I didn't feel like the alternatives to Last Resort Umbreon really fit the role well. I still felt that it was just playing with a not Last Resort Umbreon, basically. If you want a full breakdown, team analysis, why I picked all the picks I picked, or maybe if you're a non-Last Resort Umbreon haver and you want to run a team like I am, link up above and in the description to my full breakdown of my team, why I picked the picks, and why I think it works. At any rate, this is my battles. I hope you guys get some entertainment and some knowledge from it. So my first opponent here is the Cutler's Hill, and I decided to go with Bibarel, A9, and Skuntank because I'm fairly confident that the crunches of the Skuntank may be able to pull me through. So I'm able to catch the lead here on the Vaporeon, what's that Pokemon's name, with the A9, which is a pretty good position for me to be in, farming it down with the charm damage. Now I do let this second Aqua Tail through, knowing that I will be able to survive, charm it down, and have a charge move ready for the next Pokemon. However, queuing charge moves is no longer a thing, and Granbull just hammers me down. Why did I update my phone? At any rate, Skuntank comes in, starts wailing down on the Granbull with the Poison Jab damage, having a crunch locked and loaded for the Alolan Raichu. I always want to call Raichu Raticate because it's a mouse. At any rate, farmed up to the double crunch, so definitely a good position for me, burning all their shields, me with the single shield left. Now, this does look like a pretty bad situation for Bibarel because it's an electric type, Bibarel's a water type, but that Surf is the killer. Now, unfortunately for my opponent, they decided to go with the Thunder Punch instead of saving up for the Wild Charge. I'm not an expert of the Raichu matchup because I wrote off electric types pretty early on, but I think he would have been able to reach the Wild Charge. At any rate, I got the Surf, I got the win, I'm not complaining. So going in for the second fight, do I change my team up? Sometimes I bluff that I'm changing my team up because my opponents are watching me. But no, I decided to leave with the Bibarel, and I go with, the Snoop Dogg DMX combo, Double Charm, Alolan Ninetales, and the Granbull. So I end up losing the lead. I bring in Bibarel against the Umbreon, but this is a lost lead that I'm very familiar with and have practiced very well. I'm pretty good at catching those foul plays with my charm users. And for some reason, my opponent decides to keep Umbreon in. I don't know if they're trying to farm up for charge moves or what. Maybe they're having trouble switching because of the fast move timing. I honestly don't know. But they kept it in, which is great for me because I'm able to get the double charge move off and take out the Vaporeon swap in. Quite possibly just a insano misplay from my opponent there. But looking at the last two Pokemon, neither of them particularly want to fight Alolan Ninetales, so maybe there's some genius to it. Then we got Granbull versus Granbull, which is actually a very entertaining fight to watch. I kind of want to make a looped gif of that. They're just going ham, just juggling their heads at each other. But yeah, no, that is the victory right there, number 2. Blazed. Then we go into the final round, and I decided to switch it up and go for the full-on DMX Snoop Dogg combo, leading in with the Granbull, backing it up with the Snoop Dogg A9 itself, just hammering down my opponent. This is actually my favorite combo by far, so Madison players, if you're watching, prepare to see Granbull in the lead. But no, it's just great. It's just great. Granbull hammers down whatever is in the lead if I don't lose the lead, and then I have A9 in the back. Once again, I lose the charge move because of the loss of our queuing, so that definitely has upset my strategy in a lot of ways, and I was feeling a little bit nervous about my next 4 rounds. At any rate, I'm still able to pull forward in this fight pretty well. I got the A9. A9 just charms down on the Raichu. Keep wanting to call it Raticate, and it's a done deal. My next opponent here is Baby Blue, And Baby Blue's team comp is the classic case of trying to capture the anti-charmer. Double Charm is great, but if he catches me with the layer on and farms me up with the layer on, that could very easily be game for me. So while going with Double Charm is the good idea here, I do have to be super cautious about that layer on grabbing me. Leading in with the barrel. So he leads in with the Suicune, so I'm assuming that we're going to have some slip and slide games going on here, and yes, of course, he immediately goes for the Bubble Beam. Me charging up to the Hyper Fang, I'm launching it, hoping I land it, because the faster I can deal damage to the Suicune, the better off I'm going to be. And he does not shield the Hyper Fang. So we're going in for move number 2, and I'm thinking this is some desperation Bubble Beam action there. It is, and this one is the Hydro Pump for sure. You trying to bait Ryan Swag, get 2 shields out with a Bubble Beam and a Hydro Pump? Not happening today, Baby Blue. I saw that a mile away, and my Bibarel is sitting pretty for the next Pokemon. So he brings in the Alolan Ninetales, and rather than wasting my Surf, because I am still very, very concerned about there being a layer on in the back potentially, I swap immediately to my Alolan Ninetales. Confident that my A9 can do a bunch of damage to his A9, and then I throw out the Granbull. Now, in the back, he either has Lairon or one of his Shelgion or Umbreon. Ends up being Bibarel, which isn't necessarily great for me, but I do charm him down with the Granbull, so it works out in the end. And having that charge move locked and loaded ended up being pretty good here, because if he had a charge move, I could have possibly won CMP. I don't know if that's a good comment, because I think he had a shield left anyways. Yeah, he had a shield left anyways, so yeah. So in our next fight, I am kind of flirting with the idea of using Skuntank, but because he did lead with Suicune, I'm fairly confident that he's on that slip and slide strat, and he's going to lead Suicune again. And if he's going to strike with Suicune again, then I may as well just lead with Charm and go full on with Double Charm, with the Snoop Dogg DMX combo right here, leading in with the A9, backing it up with the Granbull. And I do catch the lead, and our battle fails. So we agree upon same 3, and nothing lost. We know what the leads are, but we're going to know that anyways. So I'm charming him down with not a whole lot to fear. However, I'm honestly not certain if Hydro Pump KOs or not, so he does get the shield out of me, which is just kind of a critical blunder when you're up against the Suicune. If the Suicune gets the shield off of you with Bubble Beam, that's basically the GG right there. There's no real coming back from that. However, he does not get the Hydro Pump off, which is kind of a W in a way for the Alolan Ninetales here. Now I'm going to go for a little spit damage. I'm not sure if I'd be able to get to the Ice Beam or not, and then he whips out a charge move himself. Now, while I did have a critical blunder on my side, I feel like this was a critical blunder from himself, because you do want to farm up energy with the layer on. So a mistake was met with a mistake, and we'll see how that plays out in the end. So I got the Bibarel charm here, can I talk? I got Bibarel here, trapped with the Granbull, which is awesome for me. I let him KO me with it so I can get a little bit of extra fast moves in with the Bibarel, so I'm sitting even stronger against the Lairon, and I whip out the Surf, taking his final shield. And this is the point where you can see how if he hadn't used the charge move against my Alolan Ninetales, he would have had the victory here, because he would have been able to race up to 2 charge moves, annihilating my Bibarel. So I made a mistake, he made a mistake, his mistake cost him the round. Then we go into the final fight here, and I go back to what works, which is Bibarel backed up by Double Charm. Once again, leading with the Suicune. I honestly thought he was going to change it up this time a little bit, because leading with Charm against Suicune is just pretty free in my opinion, but stuck with the Suicune to the bitter end. And this time he actually changed things up and whipped out the Hydro Pump on me, which was unexpected, dealing tons of damage to my Bibarel. So well played there, man. Knowing that the last few attacks are going to be Bubble Beams, I decided to not shield them, and I feel like I could farm this guy up, but because of the reduced attack stat from the Bubble Beam, Suicune is out of farm range, which is kind of bad. At any rate, bringing in the Granbull, get a little bit of an energy lead on it, which is nice because I can get to the charge move then. Later on, though, does not want me to get to the charge move. But yeah, I go for the close combat here. Getting an excellent. Oh yeah, if you want to know how to get excellence on these, link in the description and up above the King Ives video on it. That strat just makes using the close combat and any fast move, charge move that is a fighting type really nice. So he's got me kind of stuck right now with the layer on, and ended up clamping me with the layer on. So the risks of double charm definitely exposed here. Fortunately, it was in the final round. Alright, then we get to my next opponent, and the tournament's winner, not the swag man, is this guy, Osmium. And he's got a very threatening thing of two Pokemon in his wings, and that is Umbreon and Nidoqueen. I know that's a very common combo to see out in the field, but it's just ferocious for me to be up against, because if I don't get the lead, and he has either Umbreon or Nidoqueen respectively in the back, then that could very easily be a nasty, nasty L for me. So going into the fight, I decided to go with the Barrel, Alolan Ninetales, and Alolan Sandslash in the back, just in case things don't work out too well in the lead situation. And we go in, and I end up catching his lead, which is the Nidoqueen. So I start going ham with the Barrel, keep my own Barrel in, going in for the Hyper Fang. Now I know this is a Surf, so I opt to not shield it, and I swap to my Alolan Ninetales, having energy in back, locked and loaded, Surf ready to go for any Nidoqueens that might show up. Now I do let this Surf go through as well, knowing that if I do have a bunch of damage on me, a Nidoqueen would not be able to farm me up that well. And here we go, Nidoqueen was there. I knew that because it was in the lead. And I decided to go for the Sandslash. Now going for the Sandslash ends up being a little bit of a mistake because he actually had Vaporeon in the back. So this isn't necessarily a great matchup situation for me to be in. I do go in for the Hyper Fang to try to take down the Vaporeon. I do have 2 shields, so this honestly isn't the most terrible situation I could be in, but he does get to the extra Aqua Tail before I'm able to reach my Hyper Fang. I have to shield it in order to win, and burning that shield ends up costing me this entire match, as you'll see in a moment. But yeah, no, we got the Nidoqueen. I start attacking her. I try to reach the Surf. I don't reach the Surf. I couldn't switch because of the switch timer, and my Alolan Sandslash got obliterated. One thing I could have done to maybe play that better was save the charge move, but they actually caught it. That was actually a pretty genius catch on Osmium's part. They caught the charge move, if you want to go back and see that, with the Vaporeon. So expert precision there from the Osmium. So we go into our next fight. So in the next fight, I decided to switch the lead up to the Alolan Sandslash, hopefully catching a Charm User in the lead and saving the Bib in the back. We do end up against the Umbreon though, so I decided to charge up to an Ice Punch and swap to the Alolan Ninetales to catch the foul play, but I end up missing it. I've practiced this pretty well, but I'm missing it now, so I don't know if it's lag or pressure or what. I tried to go for a second time, I miss it again, and I'm like, okay, that's it, I'm just switching to A9, that's it. He blind switches into Vaporeon, maybe trying to catch a Ice-type charge move, but he doesn't, and I end up going for the Psyshock, because for whatever reason, I feel like my attacks aren't going to be able to dodge the second Aqua Tail. He comes in with the Bib, and now I'm done with Bib versus Bib to the Alolan Sandslash in the back against an Umbreon. This is a super precarious situation for me. I mean, ultimately, looking at the game here, this is kind of GG. There's no real out of this because nothing I have can really stand up to the Umbreon with even shields or being on the club foot, the back foot, with the shields here. Yeah, no, so lame on my band. So yeah, Umbreon gets me there. He's got shield advantage. He's got the Umbreon. He's got HP advantage. I don't know how Sandslash is going to pull out of this. So I just start wailing straight Ice Punches. Maybe it could work out. I get another Ice Punch off. He's still not whipping out the charge moves on his own end. He's in the red. Victory is in sight. He whips out the foul play. I start to charge up. Leg is in effect. And he reaches the next foul play there before I can get to the Ice Punch. And that is game. Now, in the final round here, knowing that all is basically lost, I decide to go with the DMX Snoop Dogg combo, leading in with the Granbull, hopefully to aggro him down and get at least one win in against this guy. Will he lead Umbreon a second time? That is the question. I don't know why I let this intro ride as long as it is here, but it's riding. Wow. Alright, here we go. Battle time. Alright, he catches me with a Nidoqueen. So that's game. That's game. That's straight up game. He swaps in the Vaporeon, which is actually nice, because if he caught me with the Umbreon, that would be much more devastating than what this is. But there really isn't a whole lot of getting out of these battles for me. I try to preserve the Bibarel as much as I can, so I can potentially use it against the Nidoqueen. In retrospect, that might have been a little bit of a misplay on my end, but I'm already in the L here, so I'm not thinking exactly 100% straight. So I go in with the Surf, knowing that Surf is able to KO, and he brings in the Linoon. Oh man, there was no Umbreon in this team, which is probably why he didn't swap in Umbreon to begin with. At any rate, yeah, so I bring in Charmuser. He's got one shield up against me. He's got the Nidoqueen here, but he opts to swap in the Nidoqueen. Earth powers me down before I can get to the charge move. And, can Granbull do it? Can Granbull do it? No, Granbull's just not hitting hard enough. Nidoqueen got me there. So that is the L I took from the Osmium. Definitely a really good player in the area. So next up we have the Void, and I decide to go with the Alolan Sandslash A9 Bibarel, knowing that A-Slash and Bibarel can handle basically everything on his team that isn't an Umbreon, and then Alolan Ninetales, of course, for the Umbreon. So I decide to swap to the Bibarel against the Lairon here. He hits me with the Rock Slide, which is pretty heavy. I always expect people to go with the Body Slam, but he decided to go with the Rock Slide, which hurts a lot. He swaps it out to the Umbreon, and I don't know if this is necessarily the best move, because being swap locked into Umbreon against a double charm team is kind of a sure way to get mauled down by the Alolan Ninetales. Regardless, say I mow him down with the Alolan Ninetales. Nothing to fear from the Umbreon itself. He brings in Lairon, and I decide to swap into the Alolan Sandslash. Once again, deciding to not shield the Rock Slide. Like, I was convinced that it was a Body Slam, but to be honest, I talked to Devoid a little bit, and he seems to be a newer player in the PvP scene, so it is very possible that he only has Rock Slide on his Lairon. And then in the back, he brings out Raichu, basic Raichu, and it KOs my A-Slash before I can get a charge move off. How is that possible? Nope, it's a Charm Raichu. Really aggressive. So if things didn't work out for me there, that could have definitely been an L. Not expecting that heavy damage coming from the Raichu. That was kind of spooky, spicy right there. So I decided to change my lead up and go with the Bibarel. I end up catching Lairon, and oh man, are we in Lag City? I think we might be in Lag City. So at the time of this battle, in other parts of the world, Community Day had started, and with the Galar-Weezing announcement, our servers were just lagging Omega hard, and it was pretty rough. He swaps to the Umbreon because I caught the lead, and then I catch the Umbreon with the Alolan Ninetales, once again allowing me to charm him down to a pretty surefire victory here. Then he brings in the Lairon, and I go for the Ice Beam, knowing that I won't be able to do any double Psyshock shenanigans. He lets the Ice Beam through, doing some massive damage to him, and I decide to bring in the Bibarel. I honestly wasn't sure what I was bringing in right there. But yeah, once again, goes for the Rock Slide. I shield the Rock Slide, and I bib him down. Whipping in the Hyper Fang here to do some mass damage. He ends up shielding it. I probably should have gone for the Surf, but what to do, man. And I bring in the Alolan Sandslash. So I don't shield the attack. It ends up being Sludge Bomb, interestingly enough. Once again, this is a newer player to the PvP scene, so perhaps he doesn't have a Crunch unlocked yet. Yeah, once again, it is the Sludge Bomb, so I think that is likely the case here, that my opponent does not have Crunch or Flamethrower waiting for me. Alright, bring in the Ice Punch to hammer down the Lairon into the dirt. Lairon's down. We are down to the Skunk Tank here. Sludge Bombs again. I decided to shield it because I'm not risking this matchup, and I go in for the Ice Punch. Then for the final round, I decided to once again go for the DMX Snoop Dogg combo, double charm, because I just love this combo so much. It's my favorite thing to do in this cup. So leading in, Granbull. This guy doesn't lead with a Lairon again. He learned his lesson, and I'm going to teach him a new lesson, which is called Granbull. Just Granbull. That's the lesson today. So Granbull hammering down on the Linoon here. He swaps it out to the Lairon, and I swap into the Barrel. The one thing my team fears. Now trapped by the ultimate fear. The one, the only, the Barrel. Going in for the surf damage here. Does he shield it? Does he let it through? He shields it, allowing me to go to Farm Town. He actually gets off another charge move, though, so I honestly wasn't expecting that. And let the Rock Slide through. I guess he missed the charge, though, undercharged a little bit because it did not completely destroy my life. Since he's in with the Ninetales, I bring in my own flavor of Ninetales, and then he swaps in the Linoon. I'm not sure exactly why he did it. Maybe it was a panic moment, but the fight's basically finished from this point forward. He brings a nice beam. I got the Psy Shock. We both whip out the shields. But in the end, we got the DMX in the back, and X is gonna give it to you. And it has been given. Then we go against my final opponent here, the Camps. So looking at his team, he has 3 sources of anti-charm. So going double charm is kind of a risky option here, and I decided to not go with it. Psych! I go with it! That's right. You think you can spook Ryan Swag with your double anti-charm? Not happening. He's bringing the fire. DMX, Snoop Dogg with the Barrel here, catching the lead. Your Vaporeon is about to get hyper-fanged. Bringing the fangs, slapping you down. What do you got? What do you got? It's a last resort. I saw that a mile away. I honestly don't know how I saw it a mile away. Very good call on my part here. That was pretty blind. At any rate, whipping out the Surf, he lets it through so he doesn't get farmed down, and he brings in the Skunk Tank. I'm bringing in the Surf. What does Skunk Tank got against Charm users when it's already weakened? I can tell you guys, it's absolutely nothing. Wasting his energy here on a Sludge Bomb, killing my Barrel. He's got no energy, no real threat to the DMX, bringing in the Linoon. I called it. You running 3 anti-charm, you're only going to bring 1. Trying to scare double anti-charm, man. Not happening. DMX, X gonna give it to you. We got Skunk Tank. I completely forgot its name right there in my hype. But yeah, no. And then comes A9, Snoop Dogg, slapping you down. It's a done deal. Double charm does not have time for your triple anti-charm shenanigans. So we go into the next fight, and I decided to go with a very unique combo, which is the Granbull backed up by not Alolan Ninetales. I'm pretty confident that Granbull can hammer down a lot of his team, and I think I got away with the double anti-charm too well in that fight there. We do end up getting hit with Leg City though, so we do end up redoing the fight. Once again, catches my lead like he did last time, and I switch to the Bib to spook out that guy. He brings in the Shelgion though, and yeah, no, once again, lagged out. We got triple time. Do I have to narrate this again? Hey, now we're actually going at real speed. Alrighty, so I whip out the Surf, hoping to bait the shield. And this matchup right here definitely exemplifies why I felt Shelgion isn't necessarily like an Umbreon replacement. Because at the end of the day, I can charge up to Hyper Fang, I can whip out the Hyper Fang, and if you don't end up shielding the Hyper Fang, then there goes your Shelgion. There goes your massive Stardust investment. So, yeah, no, I'm still mad about this cup with the Umbreon situation. At any rate, he's got his Alolan Sandslash out, and I decide to try to charm it down, knowing that Alolan Sandslash, while it is an anti-charm Pokemon, doesn't tolerate charms very well. Now here, we do start to get hit with the lag again, but he decides to stop tapping and let me get a couple fast moves in out of honor, so we don't have to redo this fight once again, and I feel the outcome was pretty fair there. Knowing that he does not have the Bulldoze ripe and ready, I do decide to not shield that Ice Punch there. We're down to just mano-a-mano, shield versus shield, and it is the Nidoking. So I am able to bring in the Ice Punches. He will not be able to reach his charge moves in time. But we are getting hit with the Omega Leg, so I guess it's anyone's fight at this point, right? I get to the Ice Punch, somehow, miraculously, with the double White Ball of Death going, and before fainting, he reaches. What could it be? Is it the Earthquake? Is it the Earth Power? It is the Mega Horn, but I do shield it regardless because I don't know what's coming at me, and that is the battle there. Then we go into round 3, and I decided to go with the same comp, but with Alolan Ninetales in the front. Once again, hit with the Omega Leg here. So I swap to the Bibarel, and I squirt one water gun. Where's the other water gun? We're going to get there, guys. 2 water gun. Yeah, ooh, 3. 3 water guns, and there is the Dragon Breath. 2 Dragon Breaths, another water gun. Water gun, Dragon Breath at the same time. Oh, we're in sync again, maybe a little bit. So I decided to speed this video up 4 times for you guys, and now it looks like we're actually having a Pokemon battle. So I reached the Surf again, playing out like I did before, baiting the shield once again. Shelgons do not want to get hit with the Fangs, and I do not want to get hit with the Twister. So I'm charging back up to Hyper Fang. I should, by all rights, reach Hyper Fang before he reaches Twister. This matchup has been done a billion times. I'm tapping the Hyper Fang, but in comes the Twister. I decided to not shield it because this is kind of a whack situation, but Bibarel is so freaking strong that it does no damage anyways. We up in Lag City here, guys. Had I not already won the first 2 matches, and this was like a 1-1 situation, this was the final battle, we'd be absolutely redoing this fight. But we decide to stick it out because we're just kind of fed up at this point. And I end up winning because of time. Time's up. Yeah, I feel really bad for the people competing for first place at the end of the tournament here because like, that's just like that's gotta suck so bad. But yeah, real lag hours, and because the guy that ended up fighting Osmium in the end of this all already had a loss on his side, because of my weight, I ended up taking 2nd place. So cool deal for the Swagman here. That is my weighted Ferocious Cup battle. Now, if you are curious about the Ferocious Cup battles that I went 4-0, I won't be putting them on YouTube. There's just like no sense in it. I won, so just take what you took from this fight and then apply it to me not losing. It was basically same combos. At any rate, yeah, Ferocious Cup. If you are curious why I picked the picks I picked, once again, long breakdown in the description for that. And let's go on to Timeless. Let's get swagging. Timeless Cup video should be up next week. So yeah, hope you guys get some swag tips from that.